Hello, this is Harry Hawk, and this is my very first Blab. You can see I'm at home. There's my shoes behind me and the television, which I never use anymore. And, well, I'm blabbing away and, going to see what happens and, see if we can get anybody to come in and join me. I'm live on Blab right now. So I'm liking the fact that I was able to use this right away. Of course, I don't know if anyone can, actually hear me or see me or anything like that. And I'm trying to figure out what else. I can see that I can tweet out about this, and I do have a couple of Twitter followers, so maybe somebody will, show up and say, hey, hi, Harry, what's up? But that said, I'm wondering, why can't I let folks on Facebook know and see all viewers? Well, I've got one person is watching live. I think that's me. I think I'm the one person that's watching. But I believe that this link here for the event, which I'm pasting, into the chat window, I believe that's actually the link to this. So let's see what happens if I try posting this in a few places just to see what's going on here. So we'll go to Facebook and say, hey, I'm doing this live right now. All right, well, that wasn't very exciting as I paused on live air, forgetting that this won't be edited. I'm going to make a post live right now for a limited time. Come blab with me. And so I've tweeted it out, and let's see what else. I'll send out another tweet. Talking about everything live, including podcasting, tech, marketing, higher ed, and life in general. All right, so we've made a post on Facebook. We've made a post here. I suppose I should go to my favorite Google Plus and see what happens here. Plus, all right. Well, this is certainly very exciting. All right. And now we're on Google Plus. See, I'm blabbing now live. Check it out. And so that's sort of all the social media that I do. And obviously, I wasn't actually expecting that anyone would really show up at this point. But I did want to see if this technology would actually work. I think there's a little problem here getting the camera really focused on me. And I don't know what any of the other buttons and things. I know that I can record this, which I'm doing. And I don't know what else I can do. I can see who's here. I can see that it's only me, and I can adjust the camera a little bit, but there's no sort of focus or anything like that. And I have been going for some number of minutes, and I'm wondering if it tells you how long you have been blabbing for, but I don't see any sort of countdown timer. So there is no blab limit, apparently. And I'm still wondering what these hands are down in the lower right-hand corner. Sort of look like that. So I don't know what else I can say. Oh, somebody's here. It looks like. Hello. It looks like somebody is listening in, because it says that there is more than one person here. So hello, person who has come in. If you have a question, I'd be happy to answer almost anything. And I don't know that there's any way for me to see who you are. So maybe it's just me talking to myself. Maybe somehow it has looped. But anyway, I am here and I am blabbing absolutely to myself. I had a wonderful lunch today over in Sunset Park. I was having a banh mi sandwich over at one of my favorite places on 57th and 8th Street in beautiful Brooklyn. And I had the banh mi #1. And a gentleman sat down next to me on my left, and he had the banh mi #3. That was a great time. Hi. IMA Academy Atlanta. Whoever you are, welcome. And it's great to have you here. And I see Industry Makeup is here as well. Hello. Welcome. I'm just testing out that this works with my Chromebook, and it is rather wonderful to actually have somewhat of an audience. Feel free to ask me absolutely anything. I'm just was ranting a little bit about the lunch that I had today, a beautiful banh mi sandwich over in Brooklyn's Chinatown, one of several. And I met a young student who was studying dentistry at NYU, which may seem odd, but we talked about marketing, and we talked about how that toothpaste is really marketed with a lot of confusion, all kinds of competing claims and so forth. And I was speculating that it was sort of ripe for disruption by a mass home marketer, who would make sort of batches of products that would be specified, not unique on a person-to-person basis, but take a bunch of orders and make a bunch of custom products. Hello, Marcus Boswell. Thank you for joining as well. Again, all of you folks, I'd love to get some questions from you. I'm happy to talk about anything. I was, Marcus, before you came in, speculating that the toothpaste industry was really ripe for a mass customization play. You know, you can think about products like Warby Parker or Harry's, and how the claims on the toothpaste boxes are so contradictory that someone could make up an easy service. At home, you pick the flavors. Do you want gel, paste? What kind of tube do you want? And, you know, every month they'd send you enough for your family. The dentistry student that I was talking to was saying that the current toothpaste tubes, the nozzle is too wide. It actually gives you more than you actually need to be efficacious. So all kinds of room for disruption. I liked your little quote there, Marcus, that just popped up and it went away. So I see it was just your last tweet. This is all new to me. I see, and somehow you're here. Interesting.
I am indeed. I thought I saw that lonely testing to see how it works symbol, and I've been there. So I thought I'd help you out and not leave you sitting in this party all by yourself, despite my many things to do.
Same here, but this is fun. I'm going to do one of these for real tomorrow, and we've picked up Liz Melville. Hello, Liz. And
hey, Liz. Good buddy of mine.
Well, that's why she's here then.
maybe I don't know.
How did you join in? What was the?
Because I had just finished watching a discussion with Mari Smith and Joel Comm, which was a very detailed discussion about Facebook, and I much to hi Liz, how you doing? And anybody who knows me, including Liz, will know I ought to be working right now, and actually I am. It's quite late here in the UK. It's 9 o'clock in the evening, and I decided that hey, how you doing? Hey. Basically I was just caught up with some other stuff, and like I said, I saw your sort of testing, and I figured, you know what, we've all had that moment where we're trying to figure out a new platform, and we're sitting on our own, and we don't quite know how these things work. So I thought, let me not leave this guy hanging. Let's go figure out what he's about, what he's up to, and offer a lending hand. So how long have you been doing this, and what do you need?
Well, so this is my first time doing a Blab. I'm doing our larger one tomorrow with Tom Schwab and George Thomas on podcasting. I am a podcaster. I podcast for the inbound.org podcast network, and I'm also a marketer and educator. But so I wasn't sure if it would work with my Chromebook, so it is. So
Chrome's a good start, I think, with most things, it seems to me. But so industry makeup. Hey, and what's your first name?
Ebony.
Hey, Ebony, that's a lovely name. I like that. Suits us very well. It's all good.
Hello, Joy.
And whereabouts are you?
I'm in Georgia.
Georgia. Okay, I've never been there.
No.
Cool.
Yeah, I just wanted to test and see if my lighting works properly.
More testing, huh? It's funny. I have a desk lamp, and without it, I disappear. So, boom, instant lighting.
I'm using daylight.
Lighting is everything.
I probably should now. It is. I'm kind of interested in your whole podcasting vibe because, funnily enough, I don't know if Liz is still on, Liz Melville, but she's a Scottish lady, lovely lady who deals in social media, and I see she's got a huge interest in mum stuff. I'm sure I'm not really doing a very good job of describing that, but I know she has a very strong social media podcast that I've been following for a while, which is probably about 10 episodes or so deep. So that's really cool. So how long have you been podcasting, Harry?
So I started about 2010, contributing to other folks' podcasts, particularly the FIR Podcast Network. And then I started my own in January. I also have a show that's called talkingabout.everything.com. And I have the podcast network on inbound.org. I just posted the link to that. And I'm also running a show on the FIR Podcast Network all about the YouTube ecosystem, and that's called YouTubular Conversations, and that's only maybe 4 or 5 episodes are out on that.
Cool. Busy man.
Well,
so
I love... Go ahead.
I just wondered if you had the full-on tech or whether it was kind of low tech, kind of get on there, get at it, you know. And one of the things I think that stops a lot of people, including me, not that I've been going down that route, but if I did, it would be through that kind of paralysis scenario where you feel you need to have all of the up-to-date tech in order to get started. Are you already fully kitted out, or?
I am, but I started out fairly short and small with just a microphone, USB microphone, which is really all you need. And the best one is the ATR2100, which is a dynamic mic. A lot of people make a mistake of getting a studio mic, but they don't have a studio. And, you know, so it's never going to, it picks up the amazing tones of your voice, but it also picks up everything. Yeah. So, you know, so it's not conducive to probably what somebody wants. But I started with just the mic, and the best thing right now, if you're doing an interview podcast, is the beta app Ringr, Ringr. It uses your phone. The microphone on your phone is incredibly optimized for voice, and when it's like this, it's noise canceling and it's really optimal. And what Ringr does is technically what's called a mix minus, which is that it records on both sides of the conversation. You can hear each other through the Wi-Fi, through VoIP, but the actual data from you is being recorded on your end and your guest on your guest's end. And so unless you... So here's, for example, let's say Marcus, I agreed we're going to do a podcast together. So I buy and mail you, ship on Amazon, you a microphone, right? That doesn't mean that when you get it, you know how to connect it, that even if it's connected, that you have the right stand, and even all of that you actually use it properly. Hey, Rev, it's great to see you there. It is very nice. Come on in if you want. So anyway, so basically Ringr lowers the common denominator for podcasting, but beyond that, all you need is a microphone and something to record on, and a digital audio player or your PC. I think a lot of the professionals end up getting an external recorder, but that's just so that their PC isn't spending a lot of cycles recording and trying to manage other things.
Gotcha. What was that called? Sorry, Ringr. The software that you mentioned. Or was it the microphone that was?
So the microphone, I'm going to type this, is the ATR2100. The app is Ringr. It's in beta, so right now it's free. And there's one other piece called Auphonic.com. It's a SaaS tool. It basically does artificial-ish intelligence post-production. So it can, for example, Marcus, you and I are talking. Can you just move your mouth away from the microphone and say something?
Yeah, how's that?
Okay, great. And so you having been off mic like that obviously would sound to somebody listening at a much lower volume. What Auphonic will do, among many things, is it will level that. But it knows your voice from my voice, so it's not going to try to level your voice to my level. So if you were naturally further away from me for the whole conversation, then drop lower, it's not going to try to raise you to my level. It's going to keep some consistency in your voice. Also, there's loudness standards. They're optional. They're not mandatory by regulatory agencies like they are for television, but it will make sure that the entire podcast has a loudness level so that when other podcasts are listened to, someone doesn't have to change the volume. Or if you're in your car and your sat nav kicks in, it's not all of a sudden screaming at you, turn left, because you had the volume all the way up because someone had a podcast with really low volume. So it does all that stuff. It removes some noise. And when it's done, it can it renders out all different sizes of files. So, for example, it will make a small MP3, but it can also make a WAV file. Maybe you're going to import this audio into a seminar or something, or you want to keep a high resolution archival copy. And it will also pass the file on to companies like Libsyn, which is a podcast host. So basically you record, edit, pass it off to Auphonic, and from Auphonic it goes directly to Libsyn, and once it's there, it goes to iTunes directly. So you know, it can be a very simple post-production. And so I'm dyslexic. I love to write. There's nothing I prefer to do more than writing, but I need a bunch of editors working with me that I still have to pay. And so with podcasting, I'm fairly verbal, and I can, instead of write, I can do this.
Talk about making it work for you.
But we all need to make that valuable content. I'm going to look for an example here, and I'll paste it in. Let's see here. Okay, here, episode 1. Hello, Chloe.
Another good friend of mine. It's crazy how I just found myself sucked into this environment where you're just dropping huge productivity bombs on the would-be potential of podcasting in some distant future. And
so here, I have. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I have to admit, I'm resisting being here, not with respect to you, just purely because I'm on a mission at the moment as far as a project I'm trying to see the back of. But you inspired me, and then, you know, when you're going to start spouting knowledge that you have, it's now inspired me to follow you elsewhere. So I'm grateful to you. This is one of those things. That's how it goes. That's social land for you.
C4 complete. I'd be happy to repeat. If you look in the comments, Marcus, I made a link to one of our podcasts.
Yeah, got it.
And you can see we also pull transcripts. And so for SEO and for other, there's a lot of follow-on value. So let's C4 complete just came in. Let's say there was something in that podcast you wanted to share with her. Right. And so right now you email her a link to the podcast and you say, 20 minutes in, Harry talks about how to do X. The chance of her actually listening, downloading, finding 20 minutes in, to me, is zero. You know, unless you're her boss, you know, or, you know, she's paying you a lot of money for consulting. It's not. But if you go to the transcript, copy the paragraph or two and send that with the link or not to the podcast, I think it enables sharing. I can't prove that works, but that's that.
Well, I think my computer just freaked out at the amount of things that I have open. So you kind of went all Dalek on me for a little while there. But I'm curious. I'm gonna go and leave you to spout some serious wisdom on somebody else for a while, and I'm grateful to meet you. That's awesome. Thank you so much for that. But I'm curious, before I go, Chloe, if you're still there in the comments. So I noticed that Liz jumped on, and I noticed that you've now jumped on, two people that I follow, and this is way too random for that. So were you alerted? This is a question for Chloe, who is C4 Compete, by the way. Were you alerted to the fact that I was watching this, and therefore, hey, that could be something? Or did you, like me, come across the words testing to see how it works and decided to have a look? If you're still out there, I'm really curious to know. She'll let me know. In fact, I'll probably just go reach out. But listen, Harry, thank you so much for your for that value bomb or two.
If you can hear me, Marcus, please follow me.
Good luck with your.
Say hello.
Take care.
Take care. So, Chloe, how can I answer any questions about podcasting for you? Feel free to type. Feel free to join in. I've opened up the seat, and feel free to actually engage in conversation if you're so inclined. Anybody else listening, feel free to come over and say hello. I would love to talk to absolutely anybody about absolutely everything. Monroe Takawa, I see that you're here, and do you have any questions? And Chloe, please, if you have questions, let me know. I don't want to stop talking here. Thanks, Marcus. I'm going to definitely follow you. I've actually followed you right now. Wow, so this is great. This works really well with Twitter. And so I'm going to find you there and follow you. And that's done. Very nice. And I didn't even stop blabbing to do that. And well, before I was talking about podcasting, I was talking about banh mi sandwiches at a Vietnamese place I had for lunch, which were absolutely fantastic. And I was talking about how and why toothpaste. So I see Craig Mount has come in. Craig, come on in. Welcome. Feel free to, click on to become live, to join, to communicate, to grab a seat at the table, so to speak, Craig, if you'd like. I'm going to be doing this tomorrow with Tom and George, and I kind of wanted to make sure that it was working. And it seems to be. So I think it's just you and me at the moment. I don't know what you have to do to actually start talking to me, whatever little button you press or whatever, but feel free to do so. I was talking about my lunch, a lovely banh mi sandwich, a Vietnamese sandwich I had in Brooklyn today, which is kind of unique because amazing fresh bread. In New York, it's usually Italian, not French, but still fresh nonetheless. Some beautiful roasted meats, but then a whole bunch of raw and pickled vegetable, which is really nice. Makes for a perfect sandwich. So do you have any questions? You're at work, I see. So, well, I wouldn't want to keep you away from making the world safe for Colorado Springs, Craig, but it is absolutely nice that you dropped in. I enjoyed Inbound tremendously. I did not. There's a lot of messaging going around to make sure that the customers could get into the sessions. And so I was really focused on doing the interviews that we did and some of the podcast and video interviews. So I really didn't get to the sessions, but I was really there to talk to users, talk to customers, and I totally enjoyed that. Totally enjoyed being in Boston. I had a dinner every night just at the hotel. I didn't go out and party. I'm not really looking to do that, but I certainly had great meals there. And I got to speak to an IT manager from HubSpot who was in charge of setting up Wi-Fi for the hotel itself, which I should say for the convention. And basically he was saying that at 13 or 14,000 people, they're more or less physically at the limit. Mark Barron was great. Oh, and I think you saw I'm going to be, at least I am arranging for, hello, Patrick, welcome. Nice to see you here. I was just telling Craig I have made arrangements, or in the process of making arrangements, to interview Brandon McDonald, who is the producer for Mark Maron's podcast. And I am really excited about that. I think he's the other half of the coin. I think we've heard an awful lot about Mark. As far as I know, Brandon's only done a handful of podcasts, one for Airwolf and one for another podcast about podcasting shows. And I'm definitely going to get his voice. Also, there's a new book about the business of podcasting. It's out from Donna Papacosta, who's from Canada. She's been a long-term podcaster. So I'm going to get to interview her. And I'm hoping to build out a whole section of Inbound, sort of all about podcasting, what it can do, how to use it, what you can make from it. And so if you guys have any thoughts or advice, I'd love to know. And Craig, I need the article that we talked to you about, that sort of the SEO aftermath of talking to me. If that turned out to be good, bad, or ugly, I'd absolutely love to know about it as we've talked. And, it's after inbound. So that's our big team excuse for can't do something right now because I'm busy cranking for inbound. But, well, I suppose eventually there'll be inbound 16 and 17 and eventually inbound 44. But at the moment, inbound 15 is over. So, Patrick, any questions? Anything I can answer or talk about? Or the seat's open if one of you wants to come in and join. You need to podcast. I need to interview Patrick. I would love to. That would be a lot of fun. It's an open invitation to the community, as you know, Craig. And I know Patrick was part of that first group of people, when we made the announcement. So I certainly would welcome that. And, well, I see your LOL. Clearly, Patrick, you're heavily involved in the community, which is great. I guess we need to... So tomorrow, the Blab, I'm doing a Blab with... I have to tell you, I'll have my assistants talk to your assistants as soon as Sam decides to pay for assistance, but so it may take a while. The tomorrow is with Tom Schwab and with George B. Thomas, and really going to talk a lot about ROI in terms of lead generation and that sort of thing. And I think they have some interesting numbers and things to share. I don't know that I have as much to share in that regard, but I definitely. And here, by the way, is literally the open link. You click on that link and you can make a podcast with me. It's that simple. But we're going to cover hopefully some of the how to produce it, how easy is it to produce, and I really think it's a unique profile, or at least a unique segment with a bunch of profiles in it. There's the hobbyist podcaster, who may or may not be trying to get rich, but basically is doing it because they have a message they want to get out. It could be religious, it could be comedy, whatever their thing is, they got to shout it from the mountains. Then there are the sort of professional rock star folks, literally rock stars or YouTube stars like Tyler Oakley or, ultimately Mark Maron, who came from the radio. You can think of Serial. All those sorts of people who are basically adding an additional platform to their existing celebrity. Yes, well, the transcription trick, I think, is so critical. I think that there's this middle group that are businesses. So they're not hobbyists. Hobbyists kind of have to reduce their cost. And they have to, they're never going to really get rich unless they get lucky and it turns into something. And then nor are they, super famous that they're going to come, if Beyonce came onto a podcast regular, it would be as popular as anything in the world. But a business has some money to spend, so they need to solve for that. They need to not be afraid, like pull transcripts. And then, I think it's just a very different way of doing podcasting compared to what you might find otherwise. And, I need to find a way to make this easy, maybe with some HTML5. I'm going to ask around. But to me, one of the great things about the transcript is when you find something that you want to share, it's a lot easier to copy out a bit of text and email it or text it or, Snapchat it or, whatever your instant message, WhatsApp, whatever and however you send text. We have lots of ways of doing that. We don't really have a great way of sending audio. Even with a YouTube video, I can preset the time code to like 5 minutes and 5 seconds and then share with you a link that opens up right to that point. So I can say, here, Patrick, you got to watch these 20 seconds of video on YouTube. You'll click the link and it will play. If I send you a link to a podcast, you may not know how to download it. It may not play on your system. You may be on your phone and you don't have the right audio player. And then how do you get 20 seconds in or 20 minutes in? And it's, the controls aren't optimized for mobile. Even on a desktop, the controls, sometimes the player needs to download the entire show before it can forward. Other times it can jump ahead and request, byte range, a different byte range, and kind of jump to it. So it's a lot harder to share than the text. But any other questions? I think otherwise, I feel kind of talked out. I would ask Craig or Patrick if you could just indicate how is my voice at all overmodulated? Is it as clear and as clean? Perfect, you're saying. I hope that's my voice, but whatever's perfect, I'll take that. And I don't know if you can see, sort of had my teeth whitened because I thought I was going to be on camera for the back at Boston, but ended up being off camera, and I'm really eager. We've got the audio from all the different interviews. We did 15 interviews, and I'm having those transcribed as well. And that's another kind of trick in terms of you've got all this video, and you can edit out, snippets going sideways. So how did you get started in marketing? Turns out 5 of them at least started in music and moved to marketing. So you could put all of those together, but which one was that? How do you find it? With the transcript, we'll be able to just, Control F, find music, musician, whatever, find them all. Mike may have been one, was a rapper. Nick Chamoyas was another, but it was like at least 5 out of 15 had some kind of music background. And, so, you can, and again, you can spend a lot of time for editors to watch the whole thing and log everything. And ultimately you may need to do that. But again, with a transcript, you didn't get that schnacky burger. Well, I had I had my complete cooking kit in my car in Boston. If someone had a flat top grill, I would have been very happy to, need some raw meat, and it'd take about 2 minutes or less to make a smashed burger as I have made them. And well, I think, gentlemen, I am going to call this unless you have questions. I'd be happy to answer any question. But I suppose I need to actually go edit some podcasts. And with this recording that I'm doing, I'd also like to see what happens when I, hit the done button, assuming it's actually recording. Well, it's amazing. I saw a bunch of friends. There was another guy who came in. He saw some friends. I mean, this actually seems to work. It seems to be social and networking. So this is Harry Hawk, and I have been recording a Blab, my first one, the Blab software in beta. It's working perfectly fine from my Chromebook. We've had 15 people come in, and I've had several people actually join into the broadcast and actually, get a seat and actually talk and share their picture and their voice. But this is it. I'm going to send out my final little tweet. It's over for now. Thanks for joining. And for the record, Ed can drink more than you. Well, he may be a couple years younger, may have had more recent training and conditioning. The academic life often teaches those drinking survival skills. And, well, the older you get, it's harder to drink heavily. And in fact, it's sort of counterindicated. If you can drink as much at 40 or 50 as you could when you were 20, then you probably have a problem. But anyway, everyone, thank you very much. I am going to stop this here. And I don't know what's going to happen when I hit stop. But, oh, hello, Nancy. We are about to stop, but if you have a question, I'd be happy to answer it. It's very nice to see you here. I don't know who you are, but hello. We have Craig and Patrick here, friends from inbound.org and the Inbound Conference. If you have a question about marketing, about podcasting, about cooking, about literally anything, feel free to ask me. Nancy has gone, so, well, I'm going to call it, at least hit the